Okay, guys, let's take a look at this quiz. This is quiz 4C. This is primarily on your calculator. I'm showing you the setup and the answers. I'll talk about possible calculator errors that if you got the answer wrong, you might have made. But please let me know if you want me to make another video or maybe chat with you one day to show you maybe you had the setup right, but you got something in your calculator wrong. So let's look at this one. For part A, it's talking about a particle moving, and it gives us a velocity. For the first one, it says total distance. Total distance is the absolute value. Distance is absolute value, and it was from 0 to 6 seconds. So we did the integral from 0 to 6 of the absolute value of our velocity function dt. You did have to have the dt in there as part of your answer. When you put that in your calculator and you math 9 that, you get 191.54. If you got something different, you might have typed it in wrong, you might have put in a wrong limit, or you might have not had the absolute value symbol in there. For part B, it says, what's the final position at t equals 5 seconds? Well, if we want to show our setup, the final position is going to be where did it start plus how much was it displaced. So where did it start? How much was it displaced? Well, it says up here at time equals 0, the particle is located at 5. So it started at x equals 5 plus the integral from 0 to 5 seconds of our function dt. We don't use the absolute value this time because we're doing displacement. All right, we find the final position is negative 97.08. As we move on to question number 2. Snow starts falling onto a deck at midnight at a certain rate. What is the time in hours, volumes, cubic feet? Find the volume of snow that falls between midnight and 4:30 a.m. So to look at that, we go from 0, well, 4:30 a.m. would be 4.5 hours later. So that's where that 4.5 comes from. And when I plug that in with my function, I get 6.64875 cubic feet. Common mistakes here. Sometimes people put 0.15 instead of 0.015. Sometimes decimals are off here. Or you use the absolute value. This was just displacement, so there was no absolute value needed. Question number 3 was kind of giving you a same setup, only we were changing the hours, right? So we're changing the setup of the hour. Remember, whenever something starts happening, that's hour 0, okay? That is hour 0, right? So 11 a.m. was when this starts. So you don't want to put in 2 to 6. If you got this wrong, you might have put in 2 to 6. Since this started at 11 a.m., 2 p.m. is actually 3 hours later, 6 p.m. is 7 hours later. So your limit should be from 3 to 7, not from 2 to 6. So if you got it wrong, that would be the most common mistake. You plug this in your calculator, you end up getting exactly 42 gallons. Number 4 was really just testing if you could type a fraction into your Math 9 correctly. It's a pretty easy thing. I gave you the integral, I gave you the setup. It's pretty obvious we're going from 0 to 4. So most of you got the limits right. If you got this wrong, what you might have done is you might have neglected to include x plus 1 in parentheses, because if you didn't use parentheses, it's going to read that as 8x over x plus 1, which is really 8 plus 1, which is really 9. So you might have gotten 36 gallons. If you got that, it's because if you got 36 as your answer, then you probably just didn't type this into your calculator right. The answer should have been 19.124. Finally, for question number 5, it says, write the setup, the amount of water that leaked. So if we look at the amount of water that leaked, that's our function. Again, I was kind of testing to make sure that you could put all this under a radical. First 10 minutes. So we go from 0 to 10 of our function dt, and that would be 25.827 gallons. I did ask for you to include units. This water was in gallons. We look at part B. How many total gallons are in the tank at 4 minutes? So the total is going to be how many we start with plus how many do we gain minus how many did we lose. Makes sense, right? How many did we start with? Well, when time equals 0, we had 25 gallons. How much did we add? Well, it says we flow into the tank at 9 gallons per minute. So that would be 9 gallons per minute times 4 minutes, right? So 9 times 4 is going to give us 36. And then subtract how much we lost, which is kind of what we did in step 1. But instead of going from 0 to 10, we're going from 0 to 4. And so I worked all that out, and you'll see that at 4 minutes we had 53.088 gallons in the tank. Hope this helped, guys. We'll have another quiz on Monday over what you learned this week with the mean value theorem. Be sure to study and reach out to me, ask questions if you have any. Have a good day.